Have you ever enjoyed a day? Have you ever felt happiness in your life? Not the kind of happiness you get from watching a piano fall on someone that wronged you. The kind of happiness you get from spending time with your friends and loved ones. I was experiencing a similar kind of happiness some time ago. I was hanging out with my fiance and we were enjoying some television time, which means I'm playing Spirit Island on my phone and she's watching South Park. All of a sudden, we get a terrible idea. What if we watched a movie? What if we watched Snow White, to be exact? I mean, we had heard stories and legends, but in our hubris, we thought surely this movie cannot be as bad as people said it is. The happiness that we had been experiencing that day was ruined. This has left a devastating hole in our relationship that time has barely started to heal. Snow White is an abomination against man, and I am not being hyperbolic for the sake of a click. I think this is truly against everything I love about movies and art. This movie is awful in nearly every way, but I think the grossest thing here is the CGI. This movie is a CGI abomination of Eldritch Horror Cthulhu levels. Please overtake me, old one. That way I may never have to watch another Disney live-action movie again. Fill me with dreams of cosmic horrors so that I may forget whatever this is. The fact that Disney made the dwarves here into CGI is frankly insulting and takes away work from actual actors with dwarvism. If you aren't aware, Peter Dinklage, the actor, single-handedly created these abominations. Dinklage talked about how Disney remaking Snow White and having real people be dwarves is backwards and offensive. Disney responded to this criticism saying that they pledged to take a different route. I would argue turning the dwarves into CGI monsters is more offensive than having real actors play these characters, but I'm also not someone with dwarvism, so I think my opinion here has a little less standing. I think having a human in the role, to speak literally and bluntly, humanizes the role of the dwarves. Turning these characters into CGI others them and makes them feel alien. I think it exasperates the problem that Peter Dinklage was worried about even more. I can't place this awfulness entirely on Peter though, because there's a really sinister underlying message that Disney either intentionally or unintentionally creates here. The dwarves are not the only ones that are entirely CGI. Nearly all the animals, if not all of them, are computer generated. The humans in this film are not CGI. So we have three categories of characters: humans, dwarves, and animals. Are we saying that people with dwarvism are animals? Are we saying that people with dwarvism are not human? I don't care if this isn't intentional, and it probably isn't, but it speaks to the sick mindset that people have towards those that don't fit the social norm. The people behind this film see the dwarves as cartoon characters that can be made with CGI. Hot take, people with dwarvism are human too. If the dwarves were real people, they would be less cartoony and less of an offensive stereotype. If the humans were CGI as well, this wouldn't be offensive. It would be just as awful from a critical standpoint, but at least it wouldn't be offensive. It works in the animated Snow White because everyone there is animated. You can't make the humans not animated and then everyone else CGI. The blatant use of CGI where it is not necessary here makes the film more cartoony, but it also takes away a lot of the humanity that should be present in films. The CGI use in this film and in other films are part of the reason why people say these live-action remakes are soulless. I truly despise factory-made movies that have a factory-made theme, a factory-made story, factory-made uncanny CG, and factory-made characters. I would rather go work in a salt mine than in a Disney movie factory. There is genuinely no life in this movie. Every song sounds artificially constructed by AI and is performed as such. One of my favorite parts of Disney animated movies is how alive the world feels. One of the best examples of this is Beauty and the Beast. The town that Belle lives in is so vibrant, colorful, and filled with personality. The town and the townsfolk are their own characters in that film. The city in Snow White is so boring and so dull in color. I do not remember a single townsfolk. You could show me an extra from this movie and I would be convinced I was seeing that person for the first time. You show me an extra from an animated Disney movie and there's a good chance I could at least vaguely recall them. They would certainly have more emotion and more life than a live-action townsfolk. The most consistent thing we've seen established between Disney animated movies getting translated to live-action is how the movies get drained of any soul. I am not the Disney live-action expert. I failed to see Little Mermaid, Pinocchio, Lilo and Stitch, or Peter Pan and Wendy. I have, however, seen Mulan, Cruella, Lady and the Tramp, and a few others. The live-action movies I've seen are so boring, so forgettable, and so devoid of the magic that makes Disney animation special. I have no idea why people are still watching these movies. Why am I still watching these movies? Morbid curiosity or a sense of optimism? It's most likely because I love funneling pain into my body like Joey Chestnut with a hot dog. There's no one in this film that I care about because we never take any time to sit with these characters. The characters here have factory-made character arcs that feel hollow and surface level. Oh, the huntsman is bad, but then Snow White is nice to him, so he isn't mean anymore. Oh, Snow White gives a nice speech, so now the murderous queen's guard that 5 seconds earlier would kill a puppy if the queen willed it are now turning against her. It's BS. It doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel authentic or human. If I'm being honest, it honestly feels like the writer said, oh, we need the town guard to not be evil because they would stop Snow White easily at the end of our movie. Let's just have them become good when Snow White is nice to them. I'm not exaggerating. That's how shallow and quick of a turnaround this is. I love the idea of kindness and goodness turning people around, but you have to earn it. You just can't do it without any build-up. Payoff only works if there's build-up surrounding it. I have to stop dancing around the real reason why this movie makes me so angry. Why it fills me with so much unfeeling Red Lantern rage.
What are you doing? What is this? This anger.
It is Gal Gadot. I promise this is the last time I'll consume Gal Gadot as long as I am conscious. You'd have to play her movies in my coffin if I'm gonna see her again. If you watched my Wonder Woman video, you know I said this is her worst performance by far. So let me repeat this for those that haven't seen the video. This is her worst performance by far. This is considering this.
Max Lord, you're putting yourself and everyone else in grave danger. I need you to give me the stone.
And this.
And enough champagne to fill the Nile.
And this.
Kal-El, no.
And this.
Why? Because of your guilt? Bruce, I was there.
Despite how bad she is in nearly every movie that's pointed a camera at her, she tops it here. Characters can be so complex and can be played a number of different ways. Think about how many different James Bonds we've had, and how each one has had a wildly different take on the secret spy. The Evil Queen is not one of those complex characters. The Evil Queen is not a character that has a lot of nuance to her. You play this evil woman to be super uptight, elegant, and catty, like a highly elevated mean girl. Or you can play her with the most camp humanly imaginable, making her goofy and over the top. Gal Gadot makes the only bad decision available and tries to play both. Literally, this is a 3-question multiple choice test with 2 correct options, and she decided to choose the only wrong answer. This is best exemplified during her big villain song. At times, she wants to be this better than thou, way too cool for school queen, and at other times, she wants to play absolutely insane. That is if she is deciding to emote for that line. There are times when Gal Gadot will just stop acting. I'm not even kidding, like she just starts singing and reading lines monotone, and then she'll flip over to elegant queen mode, and then she'll try out crack queen mode. It feels very much like watching your 4th grade niece performing in her school play, except Gal Gadot is not part of my family, so why am I watching this? I had a number of folks on my last video try to tell me that Gal Gadot was an amazing actress and that I was a hater. If you can watch the following scene and tell me this is a good line reading without lying, I will Venmo you as many Chuck E. Cheese tokens as you want, because if you think this, you have to be an effing child.
Are you against me too? Are you? Yes or no?
I dare someone to tell me her going full Scooby-Doo was a great acting choice and how it plays into Snow White's themes and plot. I legitimately think that these classic Disney villains are so easy to play that even I could do it. If she were consistently being camp and larger than life, I'd be forced to say, hey, that wasn't too bad, Gal, which, if I had to say that, might drain me of all my life force. The day Gal Gadot gives a good performance is the day I let her suck my soul dry like Shang Tsung.
Your soul is mine.
When compared to Rachel Zegler, Gal Gadot looks even worse. Rachel Zegler is the only thing in this movie worth a damn if I'm being completely honest, but there's no way she could carry this film. She tried to put in heart and sincerity into her character and into her songs, but one actor cannot breathe life into a movie of this scale. I cannot even enjoy her performance because she's being really sweet next to a CGI abomination. Like, genuinely, how much humanity and how much heart can you get when you're looking at this? I think the movie honestly would have been significantly better just from the inclusion of real human actors. The cartoony CGI animals are very uncanny, but I think they could work if you aren't also making the Seven Dwarfs CGI. With how much attention Rachel Zegler gives to the character Snow White, I honestly feel bad for her. She's trying, and the entire film and studio behind it are failing her. In conclusion, Snow White is everything I hate about modern filmmaking. Factory-made films with shallow and generic themes with no effort put behind it. A movie that feels like ChatGPT wrote and directed it. A movie that doesn't feel organic or natural. A movie that stands against the very principle of art to the point we are replacing real people with computer-generated image. I hate Snow White. It is a truly awful movie.
Are you? Yes or no?
I hope you enjoyed the video. I do promise the next video I'll make is going to be about something I like, not just for your sake, but also for my own sanity. If you are interested in yapping about movies with me, check out my Twitter or X at WorstCriticYT. You can also check out my Discord where I'm more active and where I'm now hosting events. We just recently watched Kubo and the Two Strings and it was pretty fun. You can support me on Patreon if you do like the content. Make sure to leave a like, comment, and share, subscribe, hit the bell, and farewell.